Anyway, you were talking about the show intro.
Yeah. Although I was contemplating just like starting the show, but I mean, technically, wasn't yesterday day 0?
Yeah.
Of E3? Like E3 hadn't started yet.
Sure.
So the Microsoft and Sony press conferences and Ubisoft and EA were pre-E3?
Yeah.
Even though it took place at E3?
At E3, yeah. That's usually how it works. But I think this is the first time I remember hearing like day 0.
Yeah. That's
because the show's not open yet.
And then I was like, oh, that's a really cool name for it.
Like day 0.
So when I do my gaming news thing, I'm going to call it day 0. And then after I uploaded, I was like, well, I really hope I didn't make a mistake.
I guess the show floor was only open today. First for like the show opened in earnest today.
So the expo is considered for the public to start getting their hands on stuff?
I don't know if it's I don't remember what policies that they have. It's like who can come in because it's not as easy to get in anymore. Yeah, you have to be part of something.
So we
can't
have to
prove it when you walk in the doors. Too.
It's not like Comic-Con where it's just like anybody can just go. That was part of like their whole rejiggering of it 5 years ago or something like that.
Okay. So we're here on Tuesday. So if it's Tuesday, technically this is day 1. There's 3 days
of the show.
Right, June 10th. There's 3 days of E3, not including the pressers that happen on day 0.
Right.
Day 0.
Day 0. Yeah.
So I love
E3
it.
day 0.
Yeah. I like day 0.
Releasing 2015.
I like day 0, even though it makes absolutely no sense.
No one lives forever. See, this was a game.
Is that like
that's it. No one lives forever. Yeah.
For like PC.
It was released by published by Fox Interactive on Windows. Sierra Entertainment, Mac OS, PlayStation 2. It was a PlayStation. It only came to PlayStation 2 apparently. Sierra Entertainment, Fox Interactive.
Was it like a sleeper hit or something? I never heard of it.
I don't know about hit. It was. It was a story-driven game set in the 1960s, so I got the era wrong, but that's okay. It's been critically acclaimed for, among other things, its stylistic representation of the era in the spirit of many spy films and television series of that decade, as well as for its humor. Okay, thank you, Wikipedia. Anyway, Kate Archer, female protagonist. No one lives forever.
Okay.
Moving on.
Okay, moving on. E3.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that instead.
Which was... Oh, yeah. Which was a pain in the ass to do the news for.
Yep.
We actually ended up using our own gaming news as a tool to follow everything that happened in E3. I had to compile that stuff, and for that 10 minutes, it was from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. Of nonstop.
Yeah.
I was saying before, I couldn't type as fast as the news was coming in, and I wanted to enjoy the pressers, so I wanted to watch but I couldn't concentrate on typing and seeing I think there was like this one little bridge because Sony's press conference was so much later,
right?
That I had that little opening where I could just sit down and breathe,
right?
And like start to catch up, and then once as I was about to catch up, the press conference started.
Yeah.
And that was my chance to eat. And then when it was over, I just kind of had to wait for all the news to trickle in from it, and then write it up, and that's why it took till 2 o'clock in the morning.
None of the rest of us did that.
Yeah, no. But
we used him.
But because I got to see all of that, dude, E3 was awesome.
Yeah, and it's not even over yet. Like we said, it's just day 1.
Yeah.
Yesterday was like negative day. Didn't even start. It was
an appetizer.
It was that was the embryo of E3. Today was born. We got the placenta and everything from Nintendo.
You just made E3
and
really gross.
It off. So they finished cleaning it off. The show's still going strong right now because it's on the West Coast. We're over here on the east, sort of not quite at the coast, but eastern, and we're over here, so they're still going strong. So they're gonna get that baby cleaned up. And tomorrow, that baby's going to school, and then by Thursday, that baby's going to graduate with some awesome.
And then go
and
to
that's
space.
E3. And then go to space. Yeah, and then go to space. Because it's No Man's Sky.
Which was awesome.
Which is fantastic.
Which
oh my
is
God.
Sore.
It's not Spore. I'm hoping it's not Spore. Please God, let it not be Spore. No,
it could be Spore.
No, not Spore. Spore, but better.
I've never played Spore. I don't know much about Spore.
It's
what made Spore a bad enough game for you to say, please don't be Spore?
It wasn't bad. It was just overly ambitious because it started out. It's a simulation. It started out really as like a planet simulator.
Yeah, like an evolution simulator. So you can create creatures. You design all these creatures. That was kind of like the pre-release. So if you pre-ordered, you could get the creature creator to start with, and you just put it on your computer, and you can just have all these parts and stretch stuff out and design creatures. And then when the game came out, you could actually port those into your game. And then you basically start off on a planet, and you're this.
This sounds
embryo.
awesome.
Yeah.
It sounded really exciting. I remember being really excited about it, seeing it at E3.
Yeah.
And then I looked at reviews, and it's like,
well, people thought it was going to be the best game to be ever made, ever. And if you have that expectation of of something like that,
that's my expectation of No Man's Sky.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's my trepidation.
But you're like an amoeba in this primordial ooze, and you kind of got to survive and beat out all the other amoebas, and then you kind of evolve. You suddenly sprout legs, and then you're at the next stage. And so at each stage of evolution, you get to kind of add on to your creature. But other creatures that you created, or ones that are pre-built, are living on the planet that you start on, and the planet's totally randomly generated every time. So it's unique. You can actually go back.
Spore had a randomly generated.
Yeah, and you could actually terraform planets at certain areas of the game. You could terraform planets and color your land, color your sky, everything. And then so you start evolving, and then you can get different kinds of technology, and then you start building civilizations. But you got to beat out. This is
all awesome.
Yeah, so then you got to beat out the other species that are also evolving beside you. And then if you end up being kind of like the winner of the planet, you can start to go to the space.
The winner of the planet.
Yeah.
Winner of the planet.
Official title there. And then you go to space.
The Homo Superior. Anyway.
You go to space, right? And then there's other planets also randomly generated. Some of your other creatures you've designed might be on these. But then you can choose, some of them will be at different levels of evolution too. So some are still in the beginning stages, some are super advanced. And you can go in and you can form trade alliances, or you can kill everything. And different places will have different features that you can make money off of. So some places I think had spices and mineral, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you can start gathering resources. You can go all over space, but then you start hearing rumors, and you can do missions for Alliance members.
No Man's Sky seems like crap now compared to that.
Well, it's probably going to be that, but prettier.
Okay.
And less creature design, I'm guessing.
Well, and that's the thing. Is that Spore was a god game.
Okay.
So Spore is a god game simulation. Very cartoony. And
do we know, was it a major release, or was it an indie?
Yeah. No, it was a major release.
What console did it come out on?
It didn't come out on consoles. It was PC only.
It was PC only. Okay.
This is Will Wright. So SimCity, Sims, the pedigree that this had, the development, the hype, and everything. The thing is that all of that sounds great, but for everything that Spore tried to do in this one game, it did most of it at least okay. It was definitely playable, and it was for the most part enjoyable. But
for the most part.
But the thing is that a lot of times you would run up against, when you were doing, when you were at these different stages, if you were defending your settlement from the invading hordes, or if you're flying around the galaxy, it's you could think of, if you played games, you could think of other games that did that same thing better. And It was one of those. So for the reviewers, for the critics, it's just they kept running into these situations where it's just I see what it's doing, and it's okay, but I can think of this game and this game and this game that does that particular thing so much better. And it was just overly ambitious for what it was, because all of the things that Nicole said, it does all of those things. You can do all of those things, but to what extent that what you have in your mind of what that is, to what you actually got, that's where that dissonance kind of comes in, especially in the late game when you do go to space.
Yeah, because it starts to get vague. You're like, okay, I've
What do I do
conquered
now?
this many planets. Everybody loves me. I've killed other ones don't. So I guess I can keep conquering planets. Like,
Yeah.
so there's not. I mean, and I think
So there's no end game.
They did add on some additional content
where
to
there's
the
more
end.
interactive between cultures in other space areas, but I never got it. And there was also like add-ons for parts.
Yeah.
For like the
But-
creepy cute pack, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But what No Man's Sky is doing, though, is that, one, it looks insanely gorgeous. It's first person, and and a lot of the different stages, especially I think if you went from the planetary view to space and then back down, I think there was a loading screen. I don't think it was seamless.
It
I don't
was.
remember.
From what I saw.
No. I mean in Spore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was that sort of like, this is just you just hop into the spaceship and you
Yeah,
just
I
fly.
think it was like space.
You just go, there it is.
Yeah.
And then if you want to come back down, you know what? I left my brontosaurus down there. Let me go back.
How can you forget your brontosaurus? God.
Sorry guys.
It's from a human perspective, I assume,
Yeah.
right? So you're like you're human visiting these places and not like an evolving creature working
Possibly.
its way through. Well,
I mean,
as far as we
since
can
it's
tell,
first person, you
he's
never
got
get
it-
to see.
He's in some kind of spaceship, at least to start with in that trip. So
Yeah.
as far as
Yeah. You get your own planet. Everybody starts on your own planet.
can you design it, can you terraform it, or is it just like randomly?
Well, from what he was saying, it's like everybody gets their own planet. So I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I didn't hear him. I might be wrong. I didn't hear him say everybody gets their own planet. I heard him. What I did hear was that everybody starts in like random planets.
I thought he said your own planet. I thought he said your own planet.
Well, they had.
I suppose technically, if you start on a random planet, it'll say discovered by
Right.
whoever.
Right, the planet's
Right.
going to be
where
discovered by
you-
whoever was the first one there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
Which
infinite.
also there was, and I don't know if it's addressed because we just saw No Man's Sky now, but
Yeah.
I did notice that there's that first-person view of you coming out of that cave, and
Yeah.
then you're walking all around in the field, and you get in your spaceship.
Yeah.
And then that is all seamless, right? You get in your spaceship, you take off, you go into space, a whole bunch of other crazy Star Wars kind of shit happens, and then you fly back into another planet that seems to be like right next
there,
to you.
yeah.
And you get in there, and then you start flying, and you do barrel rolls, which is cool to show that you have complete control over the ship
Do a
in
barrel
every
roll.
direction.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
How do you land? I didn't see that part.
Triangle.
Well, thanks for clarifying.
Triangle R3 down. That's how you do it. I don't
I
know.
don't think he wanted to land on that planet. It looked pretty.
No,
bad.
yeah, it looked rough, but I mean, I didn't see that.
But yeah.
My fear is that that's the beginning of the game,
Yeah.
and it starts with you getting into a ship, and then that's it. You never get on the ground again. I'm probably wrong.
Oh no,
but-
yeah. He said you could land. I thought they said you could land in like.
Oh, did they?
And if you see a planet, you can go to that planet. If you see a mountain, you can go to that mountain. If you see a star, you can go to that star. And I wonder if that's going to take 2.5 hours, like the crew, just for one mission.
Which was amazing. When it comes to racing games, I really don't care all that much.
Yeah.
I usually don't, because it's just like you have a set track.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, how much can I get out of this track? Which is why I got, that G27 racing wheel to make it more realistic, and then you feel like you're more into it. For the crew, 2.5 hours to drive from, like that trailer, that spot-to-spot trailer was from Miami to LA, and they said that that's going to be one of the races in the game that takes 2.5 hours to complete. And they have it in fast forward, and you can actually see these regions change based on where they are, which city they're in.
I can't imagine.
That's amazing.
If I
That's a
lost
long-
that race, I would feel really upset.
Oh yeah. After 2.5 hours.
and you miss by like this much. You're just like,
But the cool thing is that if something happens to you at the beginning of a race like that, like in the first 10 minutes, you're way behind.
Yeah.
You're still in the race technically, because anything can happen in those 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
yeah.
Somebody else
Or it
could walk
cannot.
out.
You find out 2.5 hours
Yeah.
later.
Oh yeah.
You were trying for no reason.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
there might be something.
Should have hit restart.
So under the radar, when I was doing the gaming news video, under the radar was Alienware.
Yeah.
Said that they were going to come out with a Steam console. We knew this already,
Yeah.
but we also know that Steam had delayed their controller, which pretty much meant that all Steam boxes were going to be delayed because they don't have that unique controller. Well, now Alienware says, well, no, we're still coming out with our console, but now it's going to be a Windows 8.1 based system with its own user interface. Mm-hmm. And because it's Windows 8.1 based, they actually made it sound better than a Steam box, because they said the Steam boxes are Linux based, so you have to wait for all these games to be ported over to Steam OS.
Right.
For the Alienware machine now, you could play any game on Steam. There's no need for port. Yeah. I don't know about the stability of Windows 8.1 and how they'll deal with that, but
you just need to download drivers. We all know how much you love doing that, Amir.
I mean, if they're going to provide support for that, and I mean, it is a set piece of hardware, so maybe that alleviates a lot of the compatibility issues. I don't know.
Did they give us a price for said Alienware tools?
I don't know if prices were given. I did see different specifications, like going all the way from i3 to i7.
Very steep.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's some steep pricing going on there.
I saw a $549. I'm not sure what specs that equaled, though.
But I mean, for a Steam library, I mean, I would pay that.
Yeah. Well, it's huge.
You can just put it on your computer and that's
Well, I mean, the thing is that if you go with an Xbox One or a PS4, and you choose between those two, sans the Wii U, which is obviously very unique, very first-party based.
We'll get to that.
Right. It's going to have its own unique experience based on Xbox One and PS4. But between Xbox One and PS4, there's only a handful of unique experiences you get from the two. When you go into PC gaming, it's a completely different culture.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's really like PS4 and Xbox One are just starting to get into indie. Yeah. Steam has been indie. There are so many unique experiences there, different from each other. Like free to play, it's like a big deal on consoles now. Free to play is like, all right, whatever.
It's old
today's news.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and the fact that now there's these specifications that they know a certain install base has.
Yeah.
Whatever, if Alienware is successful, of course, whatever that install base has, that kind of brings new life into PC gaming. Mm-hmm. Maybe even life that it's never had before. So now you're going to have even more indie games coming in, maybe even stronger publishers coming in. I mean, we know that Star Citizen is a game that's only coming on PC, and it's the most exciting game for me, period. Mm-hmm. It's the game I'm most looking forward to.
Yep.
So to me, it's kind of like, with all the problems I'm having with my PC and trying to get it to work with different games, I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'll get that Alienware thing. I don't know. I think it's kind of awesome.
I do prefer consoles just because I like the stability of a console.
Exactly.
Because every time I've had PC games, computer crashes, lose everything. Well, that's the end of that. So.
Yeah. Even now, like, you know, with the hype for Witcher 3, made me want to play Witcher 2. I haven't played the previous Witchers. Yep. So, but even though I had Witcher 2, I just never had the time. It was one of my backlog games. Yeah. And then I finally got into it. And Witcher 2, it's a 2008 game. I put it in my brand new gaming rig that I just built that's supposed to be a powerhouse somewhat. Yeah. Texture flickers, crashing, just not enjoyable.
Did you turn down the anti-aliasing? Try that?
Yeah, I messed around with it. It might just have to do with the fact that it's like my TV.
Well, it didn't do it the other day, Amir.
Right, exactly. It's not. It's intermittent, which makes me even more mad. Actually, I think it has to be. It's a lighting condition. It's when there's a lot of contrast going on. Like if you're in a dark area and there's a fire, all the textures in that dark area start to flicker in and out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, not fun.
Not fun at all.
E3.
You know what looks fun? Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, it does.
That looks really fun. I'm thinking. I mean, is this going to be more just like kind of like Saints Row with zombies? Well, actually, Saints Row had zombies. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of. But it just seems like that sort of over the top.
I wonder how loud that was.
Type of what?
Scratching my mustache right in front of the microphone.
Get it in close. Get in close.
Just use enough front to scratch.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
For your listening pleasure. Stash Attack with Amir.
You're looking better than Barry White.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, I mean, Sunset Overdrive, you know, it looks like a game that's not going to take itself too seriously. So it looks like you could have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, but what's the meat of the game going to be? You know what I mean? Is it just going around having big explosions? I don't know.
Does it have to be more than that?
Well, I mean, going back to Saints Row, for example, like the Saints Row 4, the big thing was that you have these superpowers and stuff like that, but they gave them to you right at the beginning, and so that took away from it because you have all of this. There wasn't really a progression there, and so that's so it was still fun, but perhaps not as fun as it could be. And so I'm wondering if it's just you just go around, and because Grand Theft Auto, any open world game has that to a certain extent. You don't have to do any missions or anything. You can just get in a car, or going all the way back to the Grand Theft Auto 3 days, man. You go to the top of a parking garage, and you get out your sniper rifle, and you just start blowing people's heads off, and then you get your bazooka out so you can take down the helicopter that eventually comes. And that's what you do, and you have the mayhem and all that kind of stuff. And you can do that. Is that enough for a whole game? I don't think so.
Well, how much fun did you have in Grand Theft Auto 3 in set scenario?
Well, for about 15 minutes, and then I died, and then I shut it off, and I went back to playing Mario 64.
Yeah. Sure enough.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? It
seems to me like, it's an Insomniac Games game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to me like it's, when I looked at it, and maybe it's not fair for me to compare it to Ratchet and Clank, but but I do.
Yeah.
And it just seems like Ratchet and Clank, nice and colorful, faster, more platforming.
Yeah.
And it seems to me, looking at the weapons, that they're a little more on the serious side, but they're also more powerful and a little bit. They're not. They would seem like they're more fun.
Yeah.
Not funny.
Right.
Because. Although I really hope Sunset Overdrive has the disco ball gun. That thing that just makes everybody on the screen dance. That's what I want. But
party grenades and WoW.
Man, I don't even think we could cover everything E3 right now. That at least for me, that excited me. Like everything nonstop from the moment it started. From Microsoft's presser at day 0. Yeah. From Microsoft's presser and on. It just seemed to not stop. Yeah. And I assumed that Nintendo would be that point where I would completely lose interest. And I actually did. There was a point where I was watching the press conference and I saw like the whole Mii Fighter thing going on, and I was like, yeah, okay, Nintendo, you lost me. You're doing this again. And I got up and I was about to take a shower, and then I said, oh wait, I could keep watching the press conference on my phone, and I'll just put that on in the bathroom. And then there was this one moment where I ripped open the curtain. And they started talking about open world Zelda, and I just stood there in shock in my shower, holding the curtain, holding the wall, looking across the bathroom, and seeing like this beautiful green grass and Zelda having this, Link having this crazy fight.
Stop, because now I can't see that without seeing naked Amir just
posing like John Travolta.
Yeah.
Over the wall. Spiral.
No, but seriously, it was
wow.
It was awesome that Nintendo was able to get my attention, even when I was not watching the screen, to just stop whatever I was doing, turn around, and be like, "Okay, you got me back. Let's." Yeah. And then it didn't let up, and I don't know if I've mentioned it in the past 2 weeks that we've met. That we've met up.
You in the shower, and they wouldn't let go.
Oh.
Sorry. Anyway, they've not grabbed you that way in years.
And perfect timing for that ringer.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, Okay.
I think the wife forgot her phone in the kitchen.
Is that what happened?
I think that's what happened.
Do we have a sound? Is this is this infringing? Are we infringing? Is it audible enough?
I don't know. I don't know if it'll come.
I mean, I wasn't. I was right freaking here last week, and you couldn't hear me. So I don't know if they're going to be able to hear that.
Well, that's because you were talking this way.
Well, yeah, but that's just like a sphere of sound. Like sound waves travel in all directions around that source, right? And they're just mechanical waves.
I don't know. We'll find out.
But most of them are coming in from here. Now, if some of them maybe are bouncing on, I don't think they're going to hear it. I don't think. Let us know in the comments below. Anyway.
Speaking of which, the gaming news that I did today.
Gaming news? There was gaming news?
Yeah, I did gaming news today to cover day 1, even though to me I consider day 2.
Positive day.
Yeah.
Yesterday was negative day.
Yes. So
E3 negative. Today's E3 positive.
So-
A negative, though.
No, it's not. But I'm not calling it 0. I reject 0.
So today we had this crazy.
Go from 1 to
I don't know
-1.
if it got you guys in the office, but we had a crazy thunderstorm today, and the thunder would not let up.
Yeah.
So I was doing the gaming news today, and I was trying to mic myself and just say all the shit and just get it done with. And it took me an hour to tape the 5 minutes because I had to talk about each piece of news between
Thunderclaps
sounds that were totally taking over the whole newscast, like even louder than me at some points. But
I can just imagine you're looking out the window, and Nintendo announced that, and you see the lightning flash. They announced that they're going to have amiibos.
that's actually exactly how it goes. You can hear like my speed change in the gaming news report
Because you saw the flash of lightning. You're like, I got to get it in real quick.
Yeah.
You should have used it for emphasis.
I should.
Yeah, exactly.
I should have actually captured just throwing in a
whole
thunderclap
thing.
after every awesome thing, which was everything.
Everything was awesome.
So, I don't know if I mentioned in previous weeks. That's what I was getting at my feelings on Nintendo and their failures. And I'm not alone. Their sales are suffering.
Yeah,
but I am now sold. I didn't care for Wii. I was out of that.
Yeah.
I was talking to you about it before. GameCube was great for the games that I had, but the amount of games that I had were nothing compared to like a Nintendo or Super Nintendo and even N64 kind of shrunk a lot for me.
Oh yeah.
But Wii U now is starting to develop a library
Yes.
I really want to sink my teeth into. So now I'm actually like, now I know I'm getting a Wii U. I know I'm getting a 3DS with everything that they announced for it. I'm kind of really stoked. This is the generation that I think I said 2 weeks ago. I was looking forward to a generation of video games like the Super Nintendo Genesis era, where and then PlayStation, and then N64, and then it didn't stop. There was just all of these great consoles. You want to have every single one, and now I'm about to hit that bridge in 2015. Yeah, it sucks that everything was 2015, but I know that by the end of 2015, I'm gonna have every single console and handheld.
Yep.
'Cause I want it all of it.
Well, that's good. That's good. But I mean, the only thing that I think we've talked about that's Microsoft was Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
What else from Microsoft did you see that makes you want to get an Xbox One?
Believe it or not, Master Chief Collection.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you guys feel the same way?
No, probably not.
I think that the little bit of time that I spent with Halo 1, 2, and 3, I really have no desire to go back and do again. I mean,
that's now the ice cream truck. We'll see if that comes out.
We'll see if that comes out too. If you could hear the ice cream truck,
please leave a comment.
please leave a comment
We all
below.
know why we all run out of the room.
That's what we should do right
There's
now.
an odd
Get
cut.
up and run out.
If there's a weird cut right now,
come back, we have ice cream.
you'll know what happened.
I don't even think I'm kidding.
Jason, go get us ice cream.
Run!
Or editor, go chase out of the truck.
Damn that editor.
Awesome. Just awesome.
Terrible. Anyway,
all right, so
Xbox One.
I didn't even care about Halo. I played Halo 1, but I just think that it's cool that everybody could buy one disc.
Yeah.
And have Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then talk to their friends online and be like, hey, what multiplayer game do we want to play now? Because they're also bringing back the multiplayer for each game. So I think it becomes more of this exploratory kind of collection where it becomes more of a party where you're hanging out with your friends and like, hey, let's pop in Halo 1 and do this map, and then everybody pops in Halo 1, does that map, plays one little match. Like, all right, let's do Halo 4 now. We'll do this one, and I think that's kind of cool.
I think for Halo fans, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to capture the bro shooter market, though, which is, I think, what they're aiming at. That's why they're doing it. Because they don't have Halo 5 this year, so they have to do something. And, I mean, Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, awesome. They're remaking it. They're redoing it. And Halo 3 and 4 are both going to run 60 frames a second, 1080p. But, I mean, it is that collection to get people playing. It is a multiplayer kind of focus. And, and I still have Halo 4 that I never did finish. I've got it.
I never even started.
Never got to it.
Actually, I didn't start 2, 3, or 4. I just did one.
And it doesn't have ODST, and it doesn't have Reach.
Were those even good? I mean, like, I didn't play those either.
ODST you could take or leave. I thought it had a. I mean, it was just a short kind of. It was a fun co-op campaign for my brother and I. So I remember that. Plus, it had, I think Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk as voice actors in it.
Yeah.
So just from a sci-fi perspective, there are reasons to play through it. But it was again that was sort of a. Not even really a half release that got pushed harder than it really needed to. Anyway, let's dredge up more old E3 drama. But no, I mean Reach was a big title, and Reach did more with I think like the vehicle combat than we saw in any of the prior Halo games.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
So there's a whole like space fighting sequence.
Awesome.
Really?
Yeah,
that is awesome.
And it was big for the multiplayer as well. So you're not getting that. You're just getting 1-2. You're just getting the main kind of story, the Master Chiefs. That's why they call it the Master Chief Collection, right? Because it's all about Master Chief. No other Spartans allowed.
It's a good question you pose. Is there anything else from Microsoft
this year that makes you want to buy an Xbox One?
There was one problem that I had with the Microsoft press conference. Even though it impressed, it seemed, most of the people because they got a round of applause. I didn't like their opener. I didn't like the opener of, we listened to you, this press conference is going to be only about games.
Yeah.
And I know it's like, what? Why? Like, that was the whole problem last time, but I feel like it's the extreme. It's like you're either not talking about games at all, or you're only talking about games. Like, there's no balance. Like, show us something innovative, show us something new that you've done that's different.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I wanted something techie. Something in there that tells me, okay, we're moving forward. You're not just going to show me games now. Like, show me what else you're doing that's innovative, that's moving your brand forward. And I don't feel like I got that.
Spark was probably the closest thing that came. Project Spark. That sort of, their make a game yourself, kind of share content,
Well, how much details do you have on that? Because I seem to have missed.
I don't think it's not releasing this year as far as I know, and it's I don't know. I kind of only remember that Conquer is in it, and I'm like, yay, Conquer! All right, bad fur day, and 64 represent. But they're all doing that sort of content creation, make your own sort of game story, game fun time share things, internet, social, and they've all got like a product that does that, But what Project Spark is, I imagine that's going to be one of those things that they'll, on the floor maybe, they'll have more information.
And so maybe we'll find out as the days progress.
Yeah, it seems like you can create more lush worlds than you can with some of, like with Little Big Planet, which has its own, whole culture behind it, and not to mention an innovative things that you can do with it.
I loved how that popped up, but we'll get to that later.
And then what Nintendo's doing with like the Mario Maker. That's, it seems like Project Spark is like, if you wanted to make Fable, you would do Project Spark. Like, that's what it reminded me of. That's what the art style reminded me of. And if I want to do like a Fable type game, then I would do Project Spark. Yeah.
Which could work and could be awesome.
Yeah.
So after Microsoft, we had EA.
Chronological. That's a great way to go through it.
Yeah, we're going to have to, because I'm kind of like looking over here and I see that... we've probably got like 25 minutes left.
Something
so let's just go through them all. So
okay.
And it is tough, but
yeah.
So EA was next.
Yeah.
What do we feel was the standout there? For me, it was I felt it was a little bit of a waste to talk about Mass Effect 4 and the new IP.
Yeah.
I think it was cool to give the BioWare message of what they're doing, but I'm iffy on that.
Yeah.
But to me, that stuck out just because I love the whole Mass Effect universe.
Yeah.
To me, that stuck out, and I did like the idea that they had BioWare there saying, "This is what we do, this is how we do it, and this is why we do it."
Right.
To kind of like make you a fan of the developer and the artists behind it, and not just here's the next great trailer.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I kind of wanted a little bit more of that. Like, tell me a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah.
Inquisition, Dragon Age Inquisition.
Inquisition actually felt was weak. Did anybody else feel that? Like,
well, I think it's because it showed up more than once. Because it showed up in the Xbox conference.
It was the
and then they
gameplay
brought
that
it
I
back.
felt was just, after you see all of these crazy trailers that are just like, wow, this is so detailed and amazing, and then it goes into combat, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that, and let's see, what else? What else did they have? They had Star Wars
sports stuff. Yeah,
Battlefront.
Star Wars Battlefront.
But I mean, there wasn't much.
There was nothing. They just said
nothing to
where
show.
it will be, and we're not going to release it till it's ready.
Battlefront, Hoth, Endor. Thank you very much. Good night. Okay. Excited, but that's all I get.
All the people cosplaying as Star Wars were not happy.
No, their lightsabers turned off.
Yeah. I'm just like, wait, that's all we got? We're going home. Poor Ewoks.
All right.
What else still out from EA?
I don't. Nah.
Yeah.
For me, nothing. I don't remember too much other good stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Should we
Briefly, to get into the sports stuff.
Yeah,
'Cause
okay.
I know that we're not all to the.
If we can.
Yeah, well, the thing that I am impressed with is that these are annual.
Don't.
I know. It's not always that impressive, but this year I feel it really is because they're annualized titles. We talk all the time about how difficult it is for a developer to develop with such a short deadline.
Yep.
And this is actually the year where every single sports title, especially FIFA 15, had a lot of additions to it.
Yep.
I mean, Madden introduced like this whole, on the defensive side, it had a complete camera angle change where you could be behind the defender and control the defense, which hasn't been in the series before.
Nope.
And all of these celebration cameras, completely changing that. But FIFA 15 had some stuff that I kind of wish was in other AAA games.
Yeah.
AI that impacted animations and behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So, if somebody was, depending on what you did on the field, if you made a mistake on the field, and you went to score a goal in the beginning of the game, your teammates would be really happy that you were aggressive and you tried to get close and you tried to make that goal. But if it's towards the end of the game, and it's like this really crunch time, and somebody was open and you didn't pass the ball, you tried to actually shoot it. Instead of being happy about it, all the animations would change to them being mad at you. Mm. So it's like it really kind of, then down to the little detail. Like what I did notice from all the EA games was that all the EA Sports games is that they concentrated a lot on the audience. It seemed, and it was really pushing the hardware. Like that was really high polygon counts and great resolution for the textures for audiences when you have like so many. And I was trying to see how often they repeat, and they didn't reuse the models. I mean, of course they did, but they didn't reuse the models as much as they were when they were lower res. So I thought that was really impressive. And for how little time they had to develop, I think EA Sports really pushed through. But mysteriously, NBA Live was not there.
Oh, yet another no-show for the NBA Live series.
I mean, we know NBA Live 15 is coming, but, NBA Live 14 came after a 3-year hiatus because NBA 2K was kicking its ass.
Yeah.
Did
they actually release 14?
Yeah, they released 14, and it sucked. It was really, wow. I mean, if you're going to go away for 3 years, make a basketball game that can compete, and they came back and still couldn't compete, and that's like, no excuse there.
Right.
I love my EA Sports games.
Yeah.
No excuse there.
Yeah.
And for them to be apologetic, like they did go to the media before E3 and were apologetic that it didn't represent EA Sports properly and that they were really focused on certain improvements and in play and aesthetics that they felt would bring it to next gen, but then they didn't show it at E3.
Yeah.
If you really worked that hard, what are you not showing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're just playing tic-tac-toe.
So we've got yeah.
That's the whole game.
I don't know. I'm a little.
They scrapped the rest of it, kept the Easter egg, tic-tac-toe on the court with towels. You just get the towels, you just lay them out, and you just play tic-tac-toe.
The circles of basketball.
Yeah, exactly. But if they roll away, that's an open space, so you can go for the block. I take Whoopi Goldberg for block, please. Anyway.
And then next is
Ubi.
Not Ubi, damn it.
Ubisoft. Ubisoft.
Ubisoft or Ubis? You don't pick one?
You're still talking
I'm not
about it.
participating in this fight.
Whatever you're
Well, I'm
feeling that
sticking with
day, I guess.
Ubisoft. Deal with it. Say it like Bautista.
Bautista. No, we got to fit a
Or
wrestling
Bautista.
reference in there some way.
Yeah.
Somehow, every episode.
Every week.
Every week.
Every week.
Ubisoft.
Next week it'll be me in wrestling trunks.
Oh, no. God. Well, I guess it would be better than the shower scene.
2 weeks ago, you said that you felt
Yeah.
that Ubisoft stole E3, stole
Yeah.
the show 2 years in a row.
Yep.
Do you feel they did the same thing this
No.
year? No.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, well, no, because it's Assassin's Creed,
Okay.
Far Cry. What else? I mean, as you know, as overhyped as Watch Dogs was, I mean, that was at least a new IP. You know what I mean? And it
I
had
like
some
the fact
new
that you brought up.
ideas and
I like that you brought up Watch Dogs because I feel like that's what everybody's thinking. It's like
Yeah.
Watch Dogs did this, and I feel like that
Yeah.
lost a little bit of faith from consumers. This is like once Watch Dogs came out, I was like, this is not what you told me I was going to get, and now I'm losing a little bit of faith.
well,
but
and I think they don't want to, despite how successful.
my dog
it's
is going to
been.
bark again because she's going to need help out. So I'm going to go
Okay.
help her up.
All right. Well, let's do that. Should we pause? Should we just keep going? Should
I
we?
don't know. Maybe I'll do an edit.
What are we? What?
You play
What?
tic-tac-toe.
No. No way.
Come on, Nicole.
No way. Yeah. Can you just put up like the Indian head technical difficulties thing?
Actually, yeah.
Just kind of like do that right. Yeah, just like for that. I'm gonna get up. And we're back. All right. So yeah, no. So they kept it. They played it conservatively. I think. I really do feel like we got, Far Cry, great. Assassin's Creed, okay. It's another Assassin's Creed. I know. It's next gen. It's beautiful. It's great. It's 4-player co-op, and it's French. But it's still Assassin's Creed, and I'm not excited for Assassin's Creed.
I think there's one thing that we all just forgot, which was the grand finale, which was Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six. Well, I guess.
Rainbow Six was not just cool in the fact that it was refreshing
Yeah.
to what it does for online multiplayer.
We're talking about the original.
No, the one that they just
The new one?
announced at
Okay.
the close of the Ubisoft.
What's
conference.
original? What's all right? Tell me, because this part I missed. So, what is so great about Rainbow Six?
The fact that it became more of a tech demo than just a game.
Uh-huh.
Like we were watching gunfights
Yeah.
with walls falling apart from the firepower. People making breaches, I mean, like, we're used to the breaches, right? Like, you
Right.
breach through a window, you breach through the top.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these firefights were taking place through walls. Like, the whole walls and the plaster was just being destroyed around it.
Was it the particle effects? The Battlefield has done that. I mean, like Bad Company especially had fully destructible environments and stuff like that, and could do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, but a hostage situation?
Okay, so is it what is it? The gameplay mode that's really the groundbreaking thing? I'm really grilling you now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are.
Because it's revolutionary. How's it revolutionary? Because
I think
it was awesome.
when I looked closely at the video, and I mean, if I wanted to really dig
Yeah.
in, I just don't have the time.
That's fine, yeah. Yeah.
But I did notice that when a wall was destroyed, particle effects, not so much.
Okay.
Not even as good as Battlefield.
Okay.
But it was really close range.
Uh-huh.
So when it's really close range, you can actually see like the paint
Uh-huh.
before the plaster, before the stud.
Okay.
And like you
All
can
right.
see the form of the firepower, and it forces you to be in that close range.
Yeah.
Like what we saw at the press conference was basically a whole bunch of cops surrounding a house.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like this big field or a big
Yeah.
building like in Battlefield. You were
Yeah.
really in close proximity, and it looked like there was a timer on top that was started at about 2 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and these guys were talking for 2 minutes on how they were going to breach this house and rescue this hostage. This is a really small area, so now, and then he says, and then as they're talking, he's like, well, let's breach them through the garage. And then he's like, no, they always booby trap the garage. It's like, okay, so these two teams kind of know each other, they know how each other play. So they decided to all come down through the roof at the same time. Like one team, they all just came down basically like in a flank formation. One came through this window, one came down that window, and they like repelled into this house. And then they both started immediately with the firepower, took out anybody that was in the room. The hostage was already down. The way they found out the hostage position so that they can do that was they brought in a drone, like this little remote control drone, and were able to see where the hostage was.
Yeah.
Once the hostage started talking to this controlled contraption, the people holding the hostage realized that contraption was there and destroyed it. So then they knew that they were coming in, and then they were still able to see them all like taking positions. So they came in through this window, flanked whoever was in that room based on what they saw from the camera, and saved the hostage. And then what you see is that it eventually develops into, well, now they saw them coming, so there was somebody from the next room shooting through the wall. And now this whole thing is going on. And I mean, we've seen multiplayer tons of times. Deathmatch, capture the flag. This was the most unique capture the flag, close proximity experience I've ever seen. I think it was cool. I think it was a great grand finale because it brought, Ubisoft did it again, right? I mean, like at the end of a press conference, they bring something you totally didn't expect. And it's been 6 years since Rainbow Six fans have seen a Rainbow Six game. So, yeah. And we also, what about The Division? The Division looked way better.
That was another Tom Clancy license title, right? Division looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
Division looked freaking awesome. Ubisoft also brought up Shape Up. A fitness game.
Let's skip Shape Up and just go into the PlayStation conference. We don't have a lot of time.
Let's do that. So, what impressed you from Sony?
Well,
by the way, it also seems like if we go through the timeline, each one gets more impressive than the last.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, oh man,
so much.
There is so much. I mean, you had at the very tail end, you had the teaser for Uncharted 4. That looked great. We've got a lot of indie games. I mean, No Man's Sky, obviously, that's the game of the show. Done. No release date. Don't care. Game of the show. It's gonna come to PC too. Don't care. Game of the show. You know.
Pew pew.
Brontosaurus space fighter. Done. Sold. The PlayStation Now stuff was interesting. That they're going to do an open beta for that. That it's coming. PlayStation TV.
What do they mean by open beta? See, this is the thing I don't understand. What does they mean by open beta? Does that mean?
That's a good question, sir.
If you're in beta, are you going to charge me to rent?
Possibly.
Are you Tim?
I'm Tim. Question answered.
This episode.
Question answered. Anyway, we didn't introduce ourselves.
No, we didn't.
Anyway, moving on.
I don't know who you are. You don't have to know who we are.
Tim.
All we know is Tim.
That's Tim.
That's Tim.
I'm here, you're there, and she's there. Awesome. So there, what do you think? What impressed you from the Sony conference?
Dude, I can't.
I can't think of game titles right now.
There was so much. There was Batman Arkham Knight, which was another game that felt like it was a tech demo.
Order.
It was just incredible. No Man's Sky. The Order showed gameplay. And the gameplay, actually, we were saying before, we saw that together. That felt a lot like The Last of Us, where like when I saw The Last of Us, seeing that bridge of like cinematics into gameplay, back into cinematics, and you couldn't really tell what was what. You know? And
exactly.
That's exactly how Last of Us gripped me at an E3. And I love the game, so now I'm sold on The Order. I was actually iffy on that, but now I'm totally on board.
Glad they pushed it back. I think glad they pushed it back, and they're going to give it the time that it needs.
Yeah.
So.
There was also the announcement of YouTube being able to upload your gameplay directly into YouTube without having to exit or do anything. They were also looking to improve. I didn't fully understand how, but they were also looking to improve the Twitch and Ustream services. I felt like Sony was way more balanced than Microsoft.
Oh yeah,
because like I said before, Microsoft was just like, okay, we're going to react to what gamers have complained about last year and do the exact opposite of everything they complained about. Where Sony was just like, well, no, we're going to talk about all the games, and they gave the appropriate amount of minutes, I felt, to every single thing. Like Vita, they didn't have to go crazy about it. They didn't even talk about the PlayStation Vita bundle at all.
No.
They didn't speak about Vita very much, just enough to to push it along and say that they have support for it. Okay, great.
Play PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 games on your Vita. No first party. They didn't announce any first party exclusive titles for the Vita, did they?
No, I don't think so.
No, they didn't.
I might be wrong, but
I don't think they.
I can't remember. I mean, there was so much thing to outshine anything like that anyway.
Yeah.
Destiny.
And then there was a Destiny bundle.
Yes, the Destiny bundle.
Destiny.
That was a beautiful PS4. PlayStation TV.
PlayStation TV, yep.
That's what excited me about Sony, is that it wasn't just about the software, it wasn't just about the games, it was about improving the apps, improving the functionality, and introducing more hardware.
Yep.
And in this case, it was one that saves you money.
Yep.
Because to me, it was like, I don't want another PlayStation 4 in the bedroom, that's more money.
Yep.
But now I could buy a PlayStation TV and stream my PS4 into the bedroom.
It's a Vita in a box.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And of course, they chopped off the Vita name.
And they announced that there was, they had also announced, I don't think it was at the conference, was the price points. I'm not sure.
On the Vita TV?
Yeah.
It was in the conference.
Did they mention the bundle for $139?
$139, yeah, they mentioned the bundle as well. With the controller and the...
See, this is the problem with me doing the gaming news. Some of it is what I watch, and some of it is just what I read, and I don't know what was seen,
At least it wasn't...
I wish I remembered all my Harry Potter spells.
Yeah, exactly, with that you used with the move, right? I'm sure you did that with the Wonder Book. That made for an awesome E3. Anyway, dredging up past E3s.
Yeah,
okay.
That was not a good allocation of minutes to
No.
talk about Wonder Book that long. But
anyway,
at least they didn't do that this year.
If you want to know how Ubisoft won E3, just look. Anyway, anyway, okay. So, where are we moving?
E3,
on?
Sony.
Yeah.
We're moving on from that. Are we going into Nintendo already?
I think. Well.
Was Bloodborne?
Yes.
Oh, Bloodborne. Well, yeah, we can't move on without that. Yeah, we have to talk about
Bloodborne and Metal Gear Solid 5.
Of course.
Jeez. By the way, you guys should totally go to IGN and check out. They have a breakdown. I think they call it a Rewind Theater. A breakdown of the trailer of Metal Gear Solid 5, and it's brilliant. They really have. They broke it down to like the meaning of the song. They pointed out the. I didn't even notice this until they mentioned it. That every single time a knife shows up in that trailer, there's this little light.
Yeah.
That comes off of it every single time. To the point where now you can't unsee it. Once they told it to you, it's like, wow, that's a really annoying
They did it like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, and the guys at IGN are assuming that probably means that some kind of gameplay involving the knife is going to come to Metal Gear Solid 5. But yeah, it looks...
Quick time event.
Looks amazing.
Press triangle.
It's a huge triangle. You really love that button.
No, the developers do. Yeah. Ever since Resident Evil 4. Anyway, if we want to stay on track, we should probably move on to Nintendo.
Should we? Oh, yeah, you're right. Man, the
Yeah.
hour is not
I
enough
know,
to talk
it's
about
not enough.
E3. This is crazy.
No, it's not enough. But Nintendo was surprisingly strong. Was surprising
Yes.
for what they showed.
Yeah.
For what they showed, and we have to talk. I mean, we have to talk about Zelda.
Unbelievable.
That was
All the things.
when
If it is what they say it is.
freaking laser monster appears, man. Laser monster, and just these plumes and just the smoke and
The artwork is amazing.
Yeah,
The artwork is amazing.
Yeah, and I really like the movement towards making these games more artistic, not just more realistic.
Yes, and that was really the shift that Nintendo needed.
Yeah, and
The categories.
Yeah, was it? Is it Splatoon? I don't even remember if that's what it's called. But the paintball,
Yes,
multiplayer
it is Splatoon.
paintball. That looks like it's a lot
like
of
so
fun.
much fun. Mario Party 10.
Mario Party 10. That offshoot from the Mario World game with Toad, Captain Toad.
The treasure one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
That looks like that's more of like a 3D kind of puzzler. So it's a little more laid back because dude can't even jump. He's got a big heavy backpack, so he can't jump. But you use you can do all kinds of stuff. The Miyamoto's working on new Star Fox. OMG. Miyamoto's working on Star Fox. Did you hear that, internet? Miyamoto's working on Star Fox, but his other projects are really cool.
Is Miyamoto working on a Star Fox?
He's working on Star Fox. He's working on Star Fox. He's also working on a couple that giant Project Giant Robot. That's like you have to leverage these giant robots to knock over the other robot. and it's all first person from the Wii pad. So what you see is first person from the robot's point of view, but what the screen shows is like the kind of like the Godzilla fighting other monsters view.
Now
of
I
these
didn't
robots fighting.
see this in action, but it sounds like anybody with kids will not want their kids to have this. I envision like a kid walking around with their little remote, like just knocking things over.
Well, no, but that's the thing. That's the thing is it's all kind of tilt based. So like how you move your dude forward with the exactly. Well, the Wii's always been that way. I mean, there's been broken TVs from Wiimotes, but the Project Guard is like this tower defense game. You plant security cameras around like your base, so there's a strategic part. But what shows up on the big screen is the views from all those security cameras. But you just see the one in this gamepad, and you have to switch between those cameras. And so you have other people in the room who are just like, camera 3, camera 7, camera 10, as the enemies appear, and you're just like, you're looking up at the screen, you're trying to switch back and forth and try to shoot these little robots before they get to them. So that's what else Miyamoto's been working on. That's crazy. Smash Brothers looks good. And then
with the Mii Fighter thing,
the Mii Fighter, and then but they've got that Amiibo support. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Oh man, my house is gonna be Geek Fest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean that where you can like level up those
Mario
little
figurines
characters.
and Link figurines in my house.
Yeah,
everywhere.
and
My manhood will be
they
questioned
become
daily.
customized as you use them. So if you use them in these different games, it builds it in the action figure.
And Mario Kart 8 will have support for them too.
Yep. The Captain Toad game's going to have support for it. Mario Party I think is going to have support for it.
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yoshi's Woolly what the F Nintendo? Come on. Woolly World.
Yarn thing.
Woolly World was
Epic
really
yarn.
cool looking. And in the same art style, going back to the Sony conference, we forgot about Little Big Planet 3.
Oh, we did forget about
And it opens, and the moment you get Little Big Planet 3, this is awesome. Little Big Planet 1 and Little Big Planet 2 levels created by users will be usable in Little Big Planet 3.
Yeah. Crazy.
Now,
And there's like 3 new characters as well?
Yeah. So now that it's like multiplayer, and each one has an ability, and they help you progress through a level, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well,
heavy breathing.
Yeah. And so we
can do like 10 roundtables on E3 and not cover everything that was amazing about it. We really didn't stop.
Hyrule, we didn't even talk about Hyrule. That's the only game coming out this year on the Wii U. That's the only one of them. That's the only one coming out. That and Smash Brothers. And actually, they didn't even confirm the Wii U Smash Brothers release. And they pushed back 3DS to October, so I'm like, So
maybe we'll just go over. We'll talk a little bit more.
Well, I was going to like quickly run down like what didn't we mention? We didn't mention Crackdown. We didn't mention what else didn't we mention? Crackdown looked cool. Did we
Bayonetta?
Bayonetta. We didn't
2
talk about Bayonetta
now will
2.
include Bayonetta 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's Nintendo outfits for Bayonetta.
Yeah. I've seen those.
Does Link and Samus?
Yes.
Anyway,
Sexy as Samus works.
Link or Zelda?
No, it was a Link outfit. Okay. Yeah, because she's got the sword and shield. So it's Bayonetta. So I don't think they showed a Sheik one, but she was definitely at the Samus outfit because she dropped the helmet over.
Mortal Kombat X also.
Mortal Kombat X. Yeah.
Now Sony showed the gameplay because I looked at the trailer and I was like, wow, if that is gameplay.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
And it wasn't. But but it could have worked. Like it's almost. I was thinking when I saw that trailer again to the Last of Us thing, where you couldn't tell what was cinematic and what was gameplay. I was kind of hoping that's what was going on with Mortal Kombat X. And then when they said, "Okay, we're going to show you gameplay," I was like, "All right, cool. Let's set the record straight."
Yeah.
And it still wasn't that bad.
No.
It wasn't like what it was in the trailer. It didn't have those camera cuts or whatever, but it was still really good looking.
Yeah.
Way better than what Midway had been doing for so many years with Mortal Kombat. It was just kind of like,
Yeah.
But what I really liked was they showed 2 new characters. One of them, really creative. It was kind of like I don't even know how to describe it. It was kind of like a giant with like a girl strapped on his, like sitting on his shoulders.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like when he would do when he would get hit, she would fly off of him. So he would have to go and like grab her and put her back on his shoulders. And then, but of course, I guess he was slower because he's so much more powerful. So that's the balance there.
Yep.
But it was just cool that they were getting creative with characters again. And it's still the moves that were in the trailer, like the flipping on the tree branch.
Mm-hmm.
That was there too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat X looked great.
Xenoblade? Did we talk about
Oh yeah,
Xenoblade?
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah.
That looks like it's going to be fantastic. I wish they would just re-release, like if they would do an eShop for Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah.
Even if they did charge $60, I'd probably still buy it. But because I don't want to spend like 100, 150, on a used copy.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it. What else did we mention? There was one. Crap! I was just looking at it. We talked about Destiny. We talked about.
There was something else that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Was that this year we could see the contrast of what Microsoft did wrong last year and what Sony did right in the exact same way this year.
Yeah.
Last year, Microsoft's mistake in the reveal was that they didn't talk about games, and they concentrated a lot of time on TV.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, what the fuck are we looking at?
Yeah.
I was one of those people.
Yeah.
This year, Sony actually did the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say they focused on it,
Right.
but they talked about the exact same thing. Like they were coming out with the series Powers.
Mm-hmm. Powers. Yeah.
If you have PlayStation Plus, you get to see the series for free.
Mm-hmm.
If not, whatever, it's I guess a rental or something.
Yep.
But they're going into the TV market too. They also talked about Ratchet and Clank, the original, a reimagining of the original.
Right.
Ratchet and Clank, along with a movie coming out in 2015, a full-length movie for Ratchet and Clank. So they're kind of doing the movie thing too,
Yep.
and working with Sony Pictures. And obviously that was, I'm sure, in the planning stages,
Yeah.
when Microsoft was talking that they were going to do it.
Yeah.
But Sony, I like the attitude where Microsoft was kind of like, this is what we're doing, we know you're going to love it. Where Sony was like, here's what we're doing, we hope you like it.
Yeah.
And I think those different attitudes really showed like how you can make a crowd receptive to the same exact concept just by how you show it to them.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool of Sony, kind of like this is how it should be done.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of vibe I got from it. The other thing is, I don't know if you guys will agree.
No.
Well, okay then. I feel like 2015 is set to become the next 2008, where for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, 2008 was that year where we saw like the really big AAA games that were for that generation. Dead Space started,
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption released, games like on that caliber. And I feel like everything said 2015, but
Yeah.
everything that said 2015 was like, I can't wait for freaking 2015.
Yeah. Exactly.
I feel like we're kind of getting there. Oh, I actually have a question
What?
from somebody who watches our show.
Oh, okay. Let's do that then.
Now I forgot it. No, the question.
Well, let's not do that then.
No, the question was Uncharted. I actually did forget it. I was so horrified. I forgot.
You're so terrible at this.
Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 4.
We got the name of it was A Thief's End.
Yep.
Which somebody should tell them that, at that point it's thieves. No.
It's
Thief's
only
End.
one.
It's only one.
Right. It's a possessive.
Sorry.
The end is it belongs
Whatever.
to the thief.
Not an English major, I get. Okay, so Uncharted 4. Did they put the 4 there? I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
Yes.
Do we believe that it will be Sully who dies, and that's why it's called A Thief's End? Because Sully's voice plays right before that.
Right.
That subtitle is placed there.
Well, with the Last of Us guys running the show, I wouldn't doubt somebody's going to die in this one. But it's not really in. It's not really in the character of Uncharted, really. I mean, they flirted with that hardcore in 3. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And you kind of were, and from a narrative, you the way that they kind of. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so.
What do you think?
I don't know. I actually haven't played Uncharted yet.
Really?
Yeah.
All 3?
Yeah, it's
Oh, dude.
it's shameful.
Dude.
As archaeologist, but
Just wait for the Uncharted 1080p 60 frames per second remaster collection that's
there you go.
Sony's going to announce later this year.
Do you play Uncharted?
Yeah, I've done like one playthrough, when they first came out. So it's
Of the
been-
fir-
it's
just the
been a
first
minute.
one or all three?
I've played all three of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I've only
Mostly
I've
from
only
beginning
played
to
through it
end.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
What do you think?
I agree with Brian.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem.
Yeah. It seems too obvious.
how-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, to
They'll
me,
play it,
I don't
think they
see
will.
it being Sully.
I don't think they're
What's
gonna kill
that?
anybody.
What's that girl's name? Cortana?
What?
There's,
Oh no!
that's
Oh
Halo.
no! You did not just. Oh
We even
no,
watched a
Chloe.
spoof video about Katana. Remember?
No. What's her name? There's.
Cortana?
Oh.
Chloe.
Chloe.
Chloe. Where did I get Cortana from?
Halo.
Halo.
Oh no!
Okay.
It's just like, yeah, what's her name? Cortana? It's just, let's just bring in a Microsoft property into the Sony discussion.
Okay.
Nobody's gonna ask any more questions.
I have a feeling. I definitely don't feel that it would be Sully.
Yeah.
I think that's way too obvious.
Yeah.
I think that is part of the hype. Like Metal Gear
Yeah.
Solid 4 was like, oh, Solid Snake's last mission, he's gonna die
Yeah.
at the end, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I think the intent is to create that hype. But I also don't think it would be Sully. As far as the Thief's End, my prediction, I guess, would be that it would either be the reintroduction of somebody from a previous game
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that would come in and then they would die. Or setting up that cliche, because Uncharted does have a tendency to be a bit cliche sometimes, and
Yeah.
and I feel like it would introduce maybe like a friend of Drake's that helps him out throughout the game, and then and becomes a villain and ends up dying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna-
Yeah.
I feel like that would fit, but
I could definitely see a story where it's just like sort of a parallel, and we kind of got that from the first sort of teaser, where of course then they fired the voice actor. But I mean, notwithstanding, it's just like there's another character who is a parallel of Drake,
yeah,
and they took a completely different path.
yeah.
And it's one of those tropes where Drake ends up sort of flirting with going down that same path.
Yeah.
And then having to make some very tough decisions. And I can see it being a lot more kind of having more serious moments in it, which, I mean, Uncharted has the potential and has been touching in the past, but it's always been more of that action adventure sort of thing. It didn't get really deep down, low and gritty like Last of Us did.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like we're going to get some of that in this game.
Exactly.
So they're going to flirt with it pretty hard. Somebody's going to get hurt pretty seriously. Drake's going to have to make some pretty tough decisions. There might be some very uncomfortable scenes. I think they will do that. But as long as there aren't aliens at the end, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. Yeah. Exactly.
I also feel like it's possible
Yeah.
that Sony or Naughty Dog may have said no to something controversial happening in the game, and that
that's
was
why.
the reason that maybe Amy Hennig and a lot of people had been shifted around and left the project.
It was Jack Trenton's fault.
Like, for example, I think it would be really cool if Drake died.
Hold on, PlayStation just sent me an email.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. What did they say?
They're correcting.
Uncharted 4 Drake. No, okay, it doesn't say that. Anyway,
Okay. I think it would be super cool for a game to take that direction and say, listen, this is the protagonist. He's been the protagonist for 4 games, and here at the end of the 4th game, he's dead. Deal with it.
yeah, it's ballsy. Yeah,
Naughty Dog also, if we look at that, it seems like from their track history, they started with Crash Bandicoot, basically.
yeah.
The really cute games. And they seem to have matured as they progressed. So it's like Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter,
Yep.
Uncharted,
Yeah,
Last of Us.
yeah.
I don't know if they matured or got depressed, but
Yeah.
it could go either way, I guess.
They matured, found alcohol. Last of Us emerged. Anyway.
I think it's totally feasible that maybe Amy Hennig said, "Hey, let's move forward. Let's kill off this really important person in the franchise, and maybe Sony was like, no, we need to have this or this one, or you need to do this, and it's a character that maybe she loved. I feel like maybe the dispute might have been in that.
Yeah.
What a Thieves End, because you hear about that in Hollywood, right? Like they'll say, okay, yeah, you could totally make Jurassic Park just like the book, just don't let everybody die at the end.
Yeah.
And then you
exactly.
clean it all up, because that's what's going to sell, and that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
No, I want to see everybody die at the end. That's what I want to see. Because I want somebody to take that step.
Because nobody will do that.
Yeah, just be real about it. Give me something really emotional. I feel like Uncharted would be really cool if it did that. But now it would be cliche if it was the people from Last of Us that brought us something like that. And it would be like, well, yeah, of course. You came from Last of Us and just killed everybody, assholes.
Yeah, exactly. You ruined the franchise. Was this a real question, or did you just want an excuse to say Amy Hennig, bring her into another podcast?
We're not on the podcast yet. Which we should actually look into what it takes to get on a podcast, because I looked at it briefly and I was just like, oh, this is a lot more than just making an MP3.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Tubecast.
Tubecast.
That's what I'm calling it.
The Roundtable Tubecast.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Okay.
Because you get it through the tubes. It's a series of tubes. The internet. It's very complicated. Series of tubes.
But yeah, man. I mean, what a tubes for boobs. Tubes for what?
Boobs.
Boobs? Tubes for boobs?
Boobs.
Oh.
People just sitting there just watching. Boobs.
Boobs.
Yeah, like the boob tube. You never heard of the boob tube?
I did.
Now you did. Now
That's
you did.
not what I thought.
Now
of.
you did.
That's
not what I thought it was. I thought it was that snowy channel where if you looked real hard you could see something. That I thought was the boob tube.
Oh.
Anyway,
You're getting weird on me.
just getting there. These folks are just like, he's been weird the whole time. You're just now noticing. I can tell that a mile away.
All right.
But
the hard question. For each one of us, we'll go around the table.
Yeah.
As we end each show, it seems, every week. We'll go around the table. Who do you think won E3?
I hate you.
Yeah. It's a tough question. Especially this year. What do you think?
Sony's the only one I watched. I've been working. Sony's the only one I cared to tune into.
All right. Well, in Sony's conference, what stood out to you in Sony's conference? If you had to pick, I guess, a winner from that conference.
I was just watching the ticker. I didn't even get to physically watch it. I was just watching the ticker go on my phone while I was
E3
asleep.
E3 is really hard to follow. I mean, you saw me at work. I was trying to multitask, and I couldn't do it.
No.
I totally couldn't do it. I had to wait until 5 o'clock and crunch it.
And then the phones went down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, man. Okay.
Anyway, work reference.
Yeah, sorry.
Back to the Tubecast.
I stumped myself because it's really difficult to pick a winner.
Should we skip? You can come back to you. You want some time to think about it, Nicole? You know?
I don't know. It's definitely between Sony and Nintendo for me.
Yeah.
I love Nintendo because I always love Nintendo, and because they did a lot of really cool, or they're going to do a lot of really cool things with stuff that we've already gotten used to. So I'm really excited about that. But Sony's doing so many things, and so many things that I would love for Sony to do. So it's kind of a tie for me.
Yeah.
Definitely not Microsoft. I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean,
no, I agree.
No, I don't think definitely not Microsoft. EA. I mean, we didn't mention Battlefield. We skipped over Battlefield. We didn't really talk about Call of Duty.
Yeah. We don't need to.
So I don't think EA and Ubisoft. I mean, we also anyway. Yeah, we also didn't talk about. There was one other game that they announced. Never mind. Anyway, Ubisoft, no, not for me anyway. So I would say, I guess it does come down to Sony and Nintendo, but most of those games are coming out next year. So I think the winner of E3 is 2015.
I think it's great though that you brought up that you said Sony and Nintendo, and like we're all kind of saying Sony and Nintendo.
Yeah,
I think it's really cool that Nintendo's even in that picture.
Yeah. That's pretty fantastic.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Despite the robot chicken.
And thinking about it while you guys were answering it, thinking about it, I was gonna jump in and say, okay, Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
The only problem I have with that is that I'm saying Nintendo because I've been starved for Nintendo to do something so awesome for so long. I feel like that's why I'm saying Nintendo.
Yeah.
Because the truth is like Zelda open world, it's like, everybody else has been doing open world for, 10 years?
Yeah.
Like,
But it's Zelda.
that's true. It is Zelda, and that's the thing. I don't want to judge it on it's Zelda. So, all right, so you win.
Yeah, you win because you're Zelda.
The truth is, Nintendo won by getting me to buy a Wii U.
Yeah.
And I haven't wanted to buy a Nintendo console since the GameCube.
Yeah.
So for me to say that, I think that's a big win for Nintendo.
Yeah.
As far as winning E3, I would have to say Sony again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
surprise.
I mean, last year. Well, no. No. I mean, last year for Sony, it was kind of handed to them.
It was handed to them, yeah.
But this year, I think Sony really balanced it out. They showed us hardware. They showed us a clear vision of where they want to go. They didn't just show us games, which is what Microsoft did. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I mean, that's kind of what Nintendo did. They really impressed us with their first party, and that they're gonna move forward and really give us some great first party content, which is really what you need, because that's gonna make people go and buy Wii U's, develop that install base, and then that's gonna attract the third parties and bring even more games.
Yeah.
The third parties have already said that too.
Yeah.
Did you see that? But with the
exactly,
Raving Rabbids, they're like, we're not going to even bother to make anything until it's more popular.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Nintendo now, it looks like behind that curtain where we thought nothing was going on, Nintendo was really hard at work to bring all of these new IPs. Well, not new IPs, but all of these new games into the console. So that's good. But I still think for now, the winner is Sony. But now I think Nintendo is really is positioned really well.
Yeah.
Where they could really steal the show next year.
Yeah.
They came really close, but for now I'm going to have to go with Sony.
Okay.
Yeah.
2015 is the winner, I'm telling you.
2015 is totally the
This
winner.
is the
I
winner
can't
of
wait
E3.
for 2015.
That's the winner of E3. All right.
Well, anyway,
cool.
Thanks for joining us, guys. The conversation doesn't end with our video. We're not just here for you to watch our discussion. We're here for you to join in the discussion.
Well, not. Oh.
We would love for you to share your thoughts on the comment space. Let us know who you think won E3. We'd love to read it, and we'll be sure to respond if we see your comments.
We will fervently disagree with your opinions.
That's right.
Fervently.
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 Use fervently? Can we make that like...
Fervently.
We should
Word
have
of
like
the
a
week?
word. Yeah, we should have a word of the week on the round
Word of the week. Hennig.
That's every week.
That's every week.
That's the word of the show.
That's the word of the show.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Later.
Bye.
I'm Tim.
Terrible.